North American suburban design is causing some of the worst issues ever recorded in the history of humankind. Most North American suburban and urban areas were designed in the 1800s. As a result, urban design does not consider the need for cars.
However, in the early 1900s, a new invention revolutionized the way people get around in the world, the car. As a result, urban designers are beginning to design cities and towns around cars. The change designers made to integrate cars into modern cities and neighborhoods were to widen the roads and change the urban planning to make cars the default means of transportation. Consequently, everything became more spread out because driving a car would be able to cover more distance than walking. Well, what does it mean for everything to be spread out? It means that many different important infrastructure points such as libraries, grocery stores, doctors' offices, and pharmacies were all moved away from each other. That means walking to places will no longer be viable and people must own a car or take public transportation. However, in the mid-20th century, the growing middle class in North America no longer had to take public transportation because they could afford a car. As a result, the government started to spend more money on making cars more convenient and less money on other means of transportation. Some actions the Canadian government took to make roads better for cars were to expand roads, pave new roads, and make every road for cars. Due to less investment in other means of transportation such as buses or trains, the lower class also started to buy cars. Along with being a poor financial choice for the lower classes, it put more cars on the road, causing more traffic jams. This caused the governments to widen roads once again. Since the highways and roads are faster than most public transportation options, and the roads were just improved to make traffic faster, many more people who previously took trains or buses to work now drove. And once again, since fewer Canadians took public transportation, the government was less willing to improve it. But since there are many more cars on the road, traffic jams would occur again at peak hours, and the government would see the issue and widen the roads again. This cycle would prove to repeat over and over again. An example of the issue would be Ontario's Highway 401. Despite being 18 lanes wide at its widest point, the daily traffic of over 500,000 cars still causes it to be a bottleneck. Since more people are driving instead of other means of public transportation due to the poor urban design, many issues are beginning to surface. Some issues are people walking less, emitting more greenhouse gases, creating a divide in their communities, and having mental health issues. First, more people are walking less because places aren't very walkable anymore, and people are noticing.
I would rather stay home because nothing in my neighborhood is in a walkable distance, and my parents are too lazy to drive me to some place I want to go.
I'm noticing that roads and streets and houses, they're not really developed for children anymore. You can't, there's nowhere really the kids can go. They're kind of stuck in the house because if they go outside, they're probably either getting lost or there's nothing specific to do out there anymore because nothing's built for them.
Not only is it an issue that people are walking less, but it is also creating health problems for people. Since people are not walking as much as they used to, the missing daily exercise is creating a weight problem in Canada and the United States. Another reason why people are walking less is due to the number of cars on the road. Many parents in Canada are less willing to allow their children to go outside and play because of the concerns that a car will hit their children. This makes children less likely to be able to make friends easily when they're older because they do not have the experience on how to make friends outside of school. In addition to people walking less, the addition of more cars on the road emits more greenhouse gases. Since fewer people are willing to take public transportation with other people, walk, or even cycle, people are driving more. In Canada and the United States, around 75% of people drive to work. And in the USA, there are 290 million registered active vehicles. That is more cars than legal adults. A typical car would produce 4.6 metric tons of greenhouse gas emissions per year according to the USA EPA agency, which is the United States Environmental Protection Agency. That means in the USA alone, cars would produce 1,288 metric tons of greenhouse gases, and according to Arbor Day Foundation, a mature tree would only absorb around 48 pounds of carbon dioxide per year. Also, the car-based suburban design creates rifts in local communities. Unlike in the past, people had to walk or cycle to places, which resulted in meeting neighbors even unintentionally. However, in modern suburban development, people drive everywhere. This means when people want to go outside, they just go into their garage and take their cars wherever they want, avoiding contact with people outside. And when they return, they go straight into their garage, once again avoiding contacts with other neighbors. Subsequently, despite people living right next to each other, they do not even know each other. Finally, many mental health issues are surfacing due to poor urban design. Since children and people in general are less willing to go outside for activities and meet up with friends due to noise pollution and urban layout, many will turn to social media to obtain their needed social interactions. The problem with turning to social media is that many platforms are designed to capture and display a person's best moments. As a result, many people are feeling like they're inferior to their peers who are portrayed as always happy and living their best life. So, how do we fix this issue? It's really quite simple. However, it requires a lot of education and investments. First, during COVID-19, which you may have heard of, many people began to work remotely, taking cars off the road. This made people more willing to go outside because fewer cars were on the road, making it safer. In addition, we can observe how other countries solve this problem. In the Netherlands, they designed their urban areas around bicycles, making roads, pedestrians, cyclists, and car-friendly. Not only are the roads more friendly to everyone, but many parents also allow and want their children to play outside due to how safe the roads are. And instead of the typical soccer mom bringing their children everywhere in cars after school, many Dutch parents allow the children to cycle around to their after-school activities, giving the children both exercise and social time. In Japan, they also solve the issues by making each neighborhood mostly self-sufficient and improving public transportation. Japanese neighborhoods integrate stores and recreational areas into residential areas. This eliminates the needs for cars for most people. However, if Japanese people ever need something from another area of the city, they can take their very robust public transportation system. In Tokyo alone, around 14 million people take the train, bus, or subway daily, whereas in all of Canada, only 4 million people take public transportation daily. Although Canada and the USA have created many innovations that the world can learn from, clearly, Canadian and American suburban designers can borrow a few ideas from the rest of the world.